Welcome to this edition of the Million Dollar Mastermind Podcast. This is where we pick the brains of high achievers from all walks of life and get their hard-earned, real-world insights on winning. I'm your host, Larry Weidel. I'm kind of curious, have you found other entrepreneur marketing, because the networking events where you can go to see a lot of those people in a short period of time, business support groups of all time, like Dennis has, it's great to get it all clustered up in one spot. And so that's one convention that you go to. Any others in the United States or Europe that you find they're particularly valuable?
Social media marketing was the biggest. I think at the peak, before we had the pandemic, it was probably up to 7,000 people. So at some point it becomes a little bit too much. Right. So then the other place where I have made the best connections are masterminds. So not about attending more and more conferences. There are many great conferences for online entrepreneurs or anyone who wants to be in entrepreneurship. But being in a program that you pay for, you make great connections. And typically these are 1-year programs, and the groups are anywhere from 10 to maybe 50 people. And so this is where I make deeper connections. Also I meet people that I can interview on my podcast, but also deeper connection, people you can call on to hop on a quick call and maybe, brainstorm a solution for your business. So just finding these masterminds, and there are many of those. And before you go to maybe a high-end or expensive mastermind, there are just online courses. So I attended B School with Mari Folio in 2013. And I just heard recently that 70,000 people have gone through her online course from 2011 till date. And back in the days when I attended B School, there was a Facebook group. So if you bought the program, this was an 8-week online course, you went into a Facebook group and you met all these amazing people. And the Facebook group was, you were in the group for years. It was lifetime access. But at some point it became too big because the group was huge. They closed the Facebook group. So the people who join her program today, they do not have this benefit any longer, I'm afraid.
Yeah. And where did you find the mastermind program from going? I guess you found out from going to the social media marketing world, and you find out all of these opportunities.
Actually more from, if I look back, I met so many great female entrepreneurs, mostly female entrepreneurs through, for instance, this Facebook group with Mari Folio before she closed it down. It doesn't exist anymore. And from there, I'm Facebook friends with a lot of people. And when I was looking for my first mastermind, it was more like these random connections. Someone is in a mastermind. Oh, that sounds like a great mastermind. So people posting pictures of them being on a retreat with their mastermind group, that would alert me to a group that I wanted to be a part of. The first mastermind group I joined was actually someone who had sought my advice through Facebook. And then I realized, okay, I was coaching her and I knew that she had a mastermind, and we did a switch. This is very unusual that you have been clients of each other. And then I found another group through someone posting online about their group. And then you ask around, and there comes a point when you have a multiple 7-figure business, the air is thinner at the top. There is less masterminds for that level of business. And so, you ask around, you ask other people that are at similar revenue levels, and you ask them, where are they going for masterminding?
And so what do you get from, other than the contacts, what are you getting from the mastermind group? Because I think a lot of business owners are looking for things that can cause them to catapult up the charts. They're working hard. They got their education, they're doing well, they've got good reputation, but they're looking for ideas and contacts that would catapult them up the chart. And it's not everybody can put together a nice little package and get on Shark Tank and hook up with one of those
Yeah.
people. But there's a lot of people in business wish that they had access to those kind of people, and they don't know how to get that, and they don't know what they would get in return. And
Mm,
so that's why I'm kind of pursuing this a little bit.
yeah.
What?
And I get
Right.
it because masterminds, it depends on the quality of the people in the group, how great the group is.
Yeah.
And also a coach will attract a certain level of people. So you got to do your due diligence and ask around and see testimonials before you join blindly a mastermind group. And I've been fortunate enough to that I am happy with all the masterminds I've joined so far. I've been running my own mastermind since 2015, and uh, now I have a mastermind where people have to be making 250,000 annually, and I help them get to 1 million. I decided to stop at the million mark. I will not throw them all out, but my sweet spot is 0 to 7 figures. And so I have 3 levels, and typically people will go, and move on from the first program to the next one to the top. And I think what happens in a mastermind, it's no longer about coaching. The coach is no longer the center of attention. They are a facilitator. They attract people, and they need to make sure that there are the right people in the group. So sometimes, even if someone fits the revenue level, and if they're not a perfect fit for the group, you have to say no. It cannot be about just like, oh, I can sell another spot. The group has to be the right group, and the right group can do amazing things for you. Like I attract people from different countries, so they're not just from United States or Germany. I also have people from Czech Republic and Sweden. So it's if people are looking for an international group, great, they are in the sweet spot with me. If people are looking, let's say, like you said, for connections, I want to move my business forward. I have a local business in California. They should look for a local mastermind in California. You have to know what you're looking for, and make sure you ask around before you join a group. So that's why often the participants in the mastermind are really the advocates for other people to join or not join.
How do you organize? I'm sure you can't be in. There's a limit at how many mastermind groups you can be in at once, and how
Yeah.
much of a time commitment is that for them to get involved in these things? People are considering it. What kind of time commitment should they think about?
Yeah. So there are groups that only meet online once a month.
Right.
So, and that's great if you just are looking to get some basic help with your business. But if you really want to truly benefit from a mastermind group, they will have retreats. So in my high-end mastermind, I will have 4 retreats. So that's a big investment in terms of time. And people are typically not in another group. That being said, myself, I am in 2 mastermind groups, and then I'm in a third program. So I'm in 3 groups. They do not all take a lot of commitment. So one group is about 4 hours every 6 weeks. Another group is 2 hours a month. And one group has retreats and the other ones don't. So all of it works out. And I'm looking for different things in different groups. But typically, yeah, you shouldn't necessarily be in too many groups. Some groups are just networking groups because they're too big. A true mastermind, I prefer my masterminds are not more than 12 people because I want the true connection. I've been in masterminds that are 25 people. I don't get really to know everyone closely when the group is big. And then there are some people that call their group a mastermind and it's 50 people. And I'm like, that's not a mastermind. That is a networking group.
Right. Now, talk about how, what do you get from it? I mean, what do people get from yours? And then what do you get from these others? Because it's like, at some point, you got to feel like you kind of know the game. And so,
Yeah,
and also doing one keeps you fresh, and so,
absolutely.
in a teacher's uh, learning situation, the teacher learns. So,
Yeah.
uh, but now you're going on and doing, so you've got to be getting something. I'm just wanting to get specific about this because we don't it's things that we don't get specific uh, enough about on this podcast. So
Yeah.
I'm using you
Great.
to nail it
Great
down.
topic. I love masterminds. I've been running masterminds, as I said, for 8 years. I've run all sizes of groups. I've had them 3 months and 6 months and 9 months and 12 months. And then I've masterminds that, I charged way too little when I started out, and now I've reached a level where my top tier mastermind, it's a 50K investment. This is not for the faint of heart. You need to have
That's a year. That's 50K a
that's
year.
1 year,
Yeah.
and it includes retreats. So, and I am the one running it, so it's my time, and I cannot charge less for it because it's my time.
And that's 4 a year. That's 4 retreats a year, right?
Yeah.
Probably 2 or 3 days. Is that about right?
Yeah, it's like it's 3 days. Yeah.
It's 3 days, and they have to pay their travel and lodging and all of that.
One of them is fully included and is a 6-day retreat in Iceland.
Ah.
Yeah. Because I have to show people my home country. I cannot not show them my home country. I'm so proud to be from Iceland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now what, let's just say you get your group in there. There's very few people I could tolerate for 1 day, much less 3 days, much less 6. I've got a friend that I invited back when the last time I played golf in a guest member tournament out here at the golf club. I invited him down and I said, "You got invited because you're one of the few people I could ride around in a golf cart with for 2 days in a row and not pull my hair out,
Yes. It is great friendships that get created. And of course, it's the burden is on me, the coach, to figure out, will this group fit together? And, and with all these years that I've been doing this, I think I'm doing a pretty good job because we have about 60% renewal rate, which means people repeat. They go for another year because they see the value of the group, and they see the value not just being in a group facilitated by me and getting all the wisdom from me, but the group itself pulls them in to continue being on this journey together.
So what do you do? I mean, here's what I'm just really confused by this, because entrepreneurs are loners, they're singular, they're, quirky, and they got their own way of doing things, and they're weird. And so one thing is they've got a short attention span. In fact, I've my cousin, who's one of the smartest people who ever lived, said that an entrepreneur is always a little bit manic depressive, and usually a lot manic depressive, super excited, super depressed, and short attention span. And that allows you to kind of get to the point in a hurry, like this is going to work or not, well, we got to change this, and, easy to focus. And so when you get entrepreneurs in a group, it seems like they would be, to me, it just seems like I'd be going out of my mind. Like to me, hell is the idea of going on a cruise. That's to me, an idea of hell is I'm on that boat and what am I going to do? You know what I'm saying? I've got to, get all kind of activities. Yeah, but I'm stuck on the boat. And so I'd have to have a helicopter,
Yeah.
And so I know I'm not the only one. So you got a little bit of that going on. And, if you're a school teacher, hey, let's go to a retreat for 6 days, it's better than working. And back when I was running training centers for years, the people who were there the earliest and enjoyed the meetings the most were the people who never worked. You know what I'm saying? Because they felt like, hey, I'm at the meeting in the office and this is working. It's like, no, this is not working.
Yeah.
Working is when you leave. Working is when you're prospecting in front of where you're doing something that could result in income, make a sale, move forward. And so how do you get gung-ho people like that and keep them entertained or interested to where, because, I've been to I've done 1 million retreats where after the first hour, you've got 100, 200 people in the room. Like after the first hour, everybody's buzzing and they can't wait to get home and go on the attack. They've heard ideas, but now they want to go. But I just can't get it in my mind where, you would go for, and first, the other thing is I can't sit, for me to sit in a room and listen to somebody else talk is just, torture.
Well, you're probably not the ideal client for
I don't
retreats.
think.
No.
But I know so many, I know I work with $1 million earners, and people are on the way to the million. And it's just the people like that. It just seems most of them are stir crazy, basically. They're on the attack. They've got ideas. As soon as they hear, the kind of person, Sigrun, where you tell, like you've done this. Yeah. You have people that you can tell them 1,000 times what to do, and they'll do it one time. You can tell them 1,000 ways how to do something, and they'll do it one time. And then there's the other person, you tell them one time how to do something one way, and they go do it 1,000 times.
Yeah,
those are the people.
That's exactly the people that go into a high-end mastermind.
Right. So explain to me the dynamics.
True action takers. But the thing is, they are busy in their business. Right. And so the retreat takes them out of their business. They can kind of look a little bit like the big picture versus the details. And they are so excited to learn from each other what is really working and actually work like on their business. So I have them do some exercises. Often it's like visioning and, learning how to lead a team and, scale up their business, scaling strategies, lead generation activities, creating new programs. And then because they know I am in masterminds too, I come often with like fresh insights, like, hey, I've just learned about this and that. Maybe it's a new tool or whatever. But the core thing that we really do at all retreats are hot seats. Each person has their hot seat, and they come into the retreat like, I need an answer to this question. I really have been struggling with this in my business, and I just need an answer to this. Now, they could just contact me and we could have a coaching call, but they want to get the brainstorming. They want ideas from everyone. And I just came back from a retreat in Australia. I flew all the way from Zurich, Switzerland, over Bangkok to Sydney, Australia. And I went to retreat, and I had a question in my mind on my way, like, yes, this is what I want solved. And could I have it solved some other way? Possibly. But I went in with this question, and boom, the answer was there. And I flew back and said, yes, this was worth my time.
Thanks for listening to the $1 Million Mastermind. If you felt there were any valuable takeaways from this episode, please take a minute and leave us a 5-star review. Your feedback is important and really helps us get the word out to a wider audience. Remember, we have a valuable webinar that is absolutely free. Register for it right now at weidelonwinning.com. Thanks for listening.